There's only one way into the Angola prison rodeo.
Armed robbery.
I'm a second-degree murder.
Second-degree murder.
For murder.
Second-degree murder.
A large portion of our population are here for second-degree murder. In Louisiana, it carries a mandatory life without the possibility of parole sentence.
This isn't your standard rodeo, explains Louisiana State Penitentiary Assistant Warden Gary Young.
It's a family-oriented day, in a very safe environment, even though you're in a maximum security prison. And all of this leads up to the wildest show in the South at 2 o'clock.
Believe it or not, y'all come to the right rodeo, because I think this is going to be one of the best rodeos. You're going to see popcorn in the arena for guts and glory, I promise you.
Suited up in helmets and protective vests, these inmates are geared up to get down and dirty. They will compete in 6 different rodeo events throughout the day.
I mean, it's something you could do instead of getting into negative stuff. I come out here and do something positive.
Perched on his high horse, the rodeo host urges prisoners to, while this professional clown makes sure the bull does just the opposite.
They colorblind. There's no such thing as seeing red. You move, they're coming for you.
Last one to leave their hula hoop wins pinball and $250. It's like that game you played as a kid, Duck, Duck, Goose. But for these guys, it's Duck, Duck, Bull.
Most part for to win a little money. Second, I really just, I like the excitement. I didn't like it at first when I came. Then I got used to the thrills and the adrenaline rushes and just started liking the crowd, really. Like the crowd.
This is Angola, once a slave plantation, now a maximum security prison set on 18,000 acres of Louisiana land. Assistant Warden Gary Young knows the lay of the land. He has been with the prison for more than 25 years.
So I'm just wondering if kind of overall people think, oh, Angola's kind of doing it right.
I hope that people think Angola's doing it right, because we really are.
Touring the corrections campus, he points out fields of grazing cattle, copious rows of crop, proud Percherons, and this little guy. His other neighbor? The Mississippi River on 3 sides. There's open land for as far as you can see. There are stark buildings that serve as historical throwbacks to a time when life went dark for those convicted of the grisliest of crimes. There are chapels, vocational workshops, a hospital, museum, and the rodeo arena, built entirely by inmates for their own big biannual show.
It's good for the inmates to get a chance to come out and experience, like 2 hours of no worries about the life sentence they got.
The rodeo raises eyebrows, but more importantly, much needed money for the prisoner reentry program, Young contends.
It funds a lot of things for our inmate population that our normal budgets don't, but it also funds our corrections reentry court program, which is one of the most cutting-edge programs of its kind in the country right now.
It also affords the purchase of tools, clothing, and other expenses needed to get these men back on their feet, back in their boots, and back to a life outside of their cell confines.
We're teaching about 13 or 14 various vocational programs, from horticulture to auto mechanics to small engine repair, welding. And then if he does have the opportunity to get out, then we have, in some fashion, we have begun a reentry program for him.
Young argues he's preparing his inmates for the real world by offering these reentry programs to those eligible. They're focusing on the nuts and bolts to get these incarcerated men fully functional on the inside and outside, dwelling into the heart of the issue at hand.
The most important part of the social mentor is to work with them to change their hearts. If you don't get that component, you're going to have a guy that gets out and recidivates. They're going to come back in. You've got to change the behavior that brought them to prison.
Angola has the highest number of prisoners serving life sentences in the United States, with their current population hovering at
6,300, 4,300 are serving very long sentences.
73 men and 1 woman sit on death row.
There's some guys that have participated a long time in the rodeo, but I'm never going to call them a legend because we don't want to make them heroes.
They may look seasoned in their fearlessness, saddling a 1,600-pound Hereford bull. But these rodeo contestants are not professional bull riders or wranglers. They are rookies, serving hard times for crimes committed years ago. You can't go straight to prison, then enter the rodeo. Some cringing in the stands might view this as a gladiator-style blood sport. Yet for this weekend, it's their time to shine in the sun, to show they are mortals who made mistakes, humans who opt for danger, if at all, to entertain the crowd.
The gladiators didn't have an option. They were thrown into the Coliseum through no control of their own. Our guys are not, because they choose to do what they do.
I mean, it's our choice if we want to go out there or not. It's no get out there. We sign up for it. Yeah, we sign up. Then they give us a sheet with the event. So it ain't no such, you don't sign up and they just put you on anything. You got a paper with them events, convict poker, pinball. So I mean, if you don't want certain events, you don't sign up for it. You're not going to get it.
They sign up, they're medically able, and we have safety nets involved with it.
Incarcerated thrill seekers who want to get into the action must have winning records and reputations in order to earn the privilege to partake in this highly revered rodeo dating back to 1964.
The offender population works very, very diligently to preserve the rodeo.
Upstanding inmates, known here as trustees, earn perks for excellent behavior and work ethic year-round. They can operate heavy machinery, handle animals, further their education, and sign up for this rodeo.
It's a great opportunity for them. A lot of them, they haven't really had a lot of positive things in their life, and so this gives them a break in the monotony of being incarcerated. They get to come out, interact with the public some.
Wild temperaments are a big draw here, from the anticipation of the bull's wrath to the moment they unleash on their black and white striped target.
Sit down, ask a lot to be my rock, and guide me, let me be the last man sitting.
The 10,000 plus sold out crowd is hungry for big hits and bravery. The action kicks off with
Bust Out.
6 heavy metal gates are open simultaneously, releasing 6 bucking bulls, hell-bent on getting that cowboy off their back. It's their form of prison break.
It's the most dangerous, but I love it. Nobody's gonna stay on the back of the bull. You coming off. Everybody's coming off at about the same time. Hold on tight.
Fall off quickly? Better get up quickly.
Well, it's just that it's fast and it's dirty.
Whoever stays on the bull the longest wins $50.
What am I doing?
When prison jobs vary anywhere between 2 cents and 75 cents an hour, winning $50 in the rodeo is striking gold.
And all 8 bulls are trying to get all 8 of us. And to me, it kind of represents life because, you know, you always got a lot of problems going on.
Bull riding falls most in line with a traditional rodeo, except prisoners are amateur at the sport, but pros at facing harsh realities. Their only experience is if they competed last year, or the year before that. Timothy Gay won a belt buckle for All-Around Cowboy in 2012, an honor handed out for Best Overall Rodeo Performance. He's felt the wild animal's thunder.
What was it like out there?
Well, it's like, I don't know, you ever been on a tornado?
Riders get a good grip, grimace, and hold on for dear life. Witnessed here in bareback riding. Hold on for 8 seconds, and you qualify for the next round, which pulls in even bigger bucks. $250.
When you're out there, like, what do you feel? Fear? Do you feel adrenaline? What's it like?
You feel it's like a mixture of all of it. The fear really keeps you from getting hurt. You know, the adrenaline helps you.
Come on after you, Ronald Buck.
Give you your speed. You mix them together, it's a good mix. I've been a competitor my whole life. I like to give my all in everything I do.
Food Mark, come on, Marlon. Now, come on, Robert. Go, Robert. Come on, Robert. Hang on. Yeah. Whoa.
Up next is the wild horse race. 3-man teams attempt to harness the horse by using a short rope to reel in this reeling bronco. The goal is to get one teammate to mount the Mustang and make a mad dash for the finish line. The horse has other plans.
So you gotta be aggressive. You can't be scared.
Wild cow milking.
For wild cow milking, cowboys grip a plastic cup and a rope. Their objective is to get just one drop of milk from the cow's teeth. But the cow often objects, not giving up her goods so easily.
I'm a daredevil. I like that adrenaline rush. Convict poker is the most dangerous event out here.
Grab your helmet and head to center stage. Get ready to gamble. It's best to leave your fear in the bleachers. There's no counting cards or playing for the table. It's time for convict poker. Choose your chair wisely. Ante up. Let the chips, or chairs, fall where they might. Last man to leave his chair wins. Play your cards right, and you take home the jackpot. $250.
You sit at the table with like some fake cards. Last one in the chair, the bull hits the table, last one sitting in the chair, they win.
Well, I sit down at the table with my back to the bull, but I have my elbows tucked in like this here to keep him safe in case I do be the first one to get hit. Or he come from the side, he won't be able to do no real damage. That's why they don't like getting at the table with me, because they know I ain't gonna run. I'll sit down and look at the dude in front of me, which is in seat 2. Every time the bull get ready to hit the table, his eyes do that, get about that big.
See a lot of people, they hear that noise, and they think they just run and slap over. Most of the time, they duck their head and toss.
There's no cutting deals. The dealer has no mercy.
Yeah. If you don't win, you got hit. I mean, I done got tore up, no broke bones, so.
When I'm in the arena, I block the crowd out. I kind of zone out. I don't even pay attention to the crowd.
What's going through your mind in those few seconds that you're just waiting there? I mean, that seems so suspenseful for me.
The truth, I'm praying. Ain't nothing in my mind. I'm praying. I pray.
No, ma'am. I am not afraid to die. I'm a daredevil.
The one where they was on the sled with the water, that was a new, different thing.
For chariot race, convicts sit on a horse-drawn sleigh, hoisting up a full pitcher of colored water, serving as a barometer of their success. Whoever survives the sharp turn and spills the least while staying on to the finish line wins $50. In order to win the bulldogging event, Competitors must wrestle the cow to the ground as quickly as possible.
A bull hit somebody in the nose.
We've had some broken bones over the years, but there are all sorts of safety nets involved in the rodeo.
Ambulances are on standby. Prisoners know the ultimate price, but ride it out like they will their life sentences. Some men compete every year. But why even do it?
It's a rush. I just like it. I like everything's a rush, really. Everything you do here is a rush. It's a rush. Then you get out of here for one day. The penitentiary, really and truly, you come out here, you just in your own world, having fun.
For some inmates here at the Angola Rodeo, their athletic dreams are playing out on a different kind of field.
At one time, I had dreamed of being in the NFL. I thought I was going to be a football player.
Well, they hype it's like being in the Super Bowl. So they really buck you up.
I guess that's just like any NFL game. When the crowd starts hollering, and NBA, they holler too. When you go out there, they holler.
They cheer for you. They make sure if somebody fall off and get hurt, they give them their support.
And so this rodeo kind of gives me like a semi, it helps me accomplish that semi-dream, like I'm still a professional bullfighter instead of a professional football player.
It gives him the opportunity to show them that he's different, that he's not the same guy that came in 5, 6, maybe 10, 15 years ago, that he's different.
If you look around the arena here, normally there's 11,000 people in here.
That he's going to have 11,000 people that applaud for him.
And the feeling they get whenever those folks are cheering them on.
So for a short while, his self-esteem is raised. He's done something really well.
I'm sure it's indescribable.
It gives me a little more hope, make me hold on a little longer, try to do a little better, just for them and for me.
So there's a lot of psychological things that go into the rodeo that I think a lot of people don't realize unless you follow the rodeo, unless you know about the intricacies of the rodeo. So it's very, very important.
For those faint of heart, uninterested in the action, or looking for a good deal, there are hobby crafts on display.
I'm ASC certified in brakes, steering, and suspension.
Mark Cooper works by day as an auto mechanic.
I went to school here and graduated. Later I became a mentor in the school. I'm ASC certified in brakes, steering, and suspension. I'm basically repairing the Hummers and the ambulances. I'm learning diesel engines now instead of gasoline.
Yet in his free time, he constructs wooden crafts.
I have a couple of wood items what I do to relax after I get off work. A couple of chess boards, bread boxes, banks, a few wood burnings. And I do that after I get off work because it's an unwinding period. It's a relaxing period for me. And it just soothes me and calms me down where I'm able to get a good night's sleep. We're real tedious with it, and we push each other to be better. So every project we do, we try to do the next one better and better and better. It's not like we are trying to compete with furniture companies and game companies or anything. It's just that we're just trying to get good at what we do. Right. We get a feel of giving back a little bit because we're able to drop prices so people can buy things at a nice price, especially since all the drama that's been going through in Louisiana lately with the hurricanes and the disaster. We feel a bit sense of pride by helping them rebuild their lives and their homes.
That's nice, man. You made these yourself?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And made it from scratch. Thank you.
This is Andre Johnson.
I'm known, my nickname was Tattoo. I don't have a tattoo name when I used to play sports in high school. My high school coach gave me that name because I used to hit so hard.
He's been incarcerated for 22 years.
What I do is I take the head, I take the tail, I take the toe, and I give them something so exotic like you can't buy nowhere in the streets.
Belt making is his stress reliever.
I don't play sports no more, so this is what I do right here. And this was to try and get my mind off it, but just talking about it now, it's hard.
John Sheehan graduated from Louisiana's prison seminary program, but works by day.
I'm an automotive instructor, and so I do that 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And so dealing with students and other workers, ostrich.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's like the high-end stuff, the money clips that are made out of the same thing.
He is known for his leather work.
I think I'm pretty good at it. I actually won first place in the leather competition today.
For what he calls mystery braiding.
It's not all the way cut, so how did I braid it right here?
Carefully crafting goods using alligator, ostrich, and rattlesnake skins.
And just different things that I do that I like creating.
This is what he wants to be known for, not the second-degree murder he committed in 1986 that landed him here.
Nobody would like to be known by their worst mistakes.
We try and help them better themselves through programming and things like that and give them an opportunity.
What have we done with the rest of our lives? And I've tried to atone for that and do better over that time.
They're better than their worst mistake.
I left Angola for 8 years to go as a missionary to another prison, and then came back here in 2010 to take over automotive program for the reentry. I've found meaning and purpose for what I do inside of the prison system. When I'm able to help other young men that get back out and go back out in society and have a job and work and are supporting their family, then I'm giving back from in here.
A lot of those guys were first-time felony offenders. It was, say, a crime of passion, whether it was a drug deal gone bad, or they killed the wife who was cheating, or the man she was cheating with. There's a lot of those scenarios here. A lot of those guys had 40-hour-a-week jobs before they came to prison.
Going into the hobby shop and creating things helps me, say, release this enjoyment of doing something different than what I'm doing all during the day.
Once they got here and they got acclimated, they just looked for normalcy. So they found a job here in the prison. They like to go to work. It gets them out of the dormitories.
That's pythoning, and this is a little bit wider. And once you find out something, yeah, I can cut it down to a 36 feet. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
At the end of the day, they're doing something productive, whether it's for the prison, which they kind of view at this point as their community. This is their house. They're going to be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm only here 40 hours a week. This is their house, and I'm just here for a short time.
The crowd is weary, the prisoners are leery, and the bulls even look dreary. But there's one event left.
My favorite event is the Gus and Glory event. That's the last event.
This is of their own free choice. Folks, this is known, of course, as guts and glory.
It's where you take a token off a 2,000-pound bull.
That's a big mean bull, man. I don't know. You all right?
There's a host of others right here. Myron, step beside him.
No, I don't want to. I think I got a fractured rib, man. It hurts to breathe.
And it's the most, I'm saying you win the most money in that event.
You want to get this chip?
$500.
It takes a little bit of strain off my family having to send me money. But when I was on the street, I didn't really ask them for too much. Got out and got it on my own.
It helped them accumulate money to take care of themselves in prison and to try to get an attorney to get out of prison. It helps them to be able to finance the fight for freedom.
Go.
Well, guys, you got to get in there and challenge him if you want the 500.
Would you do it if money wasn't involved? Would you do it just for this?
No.
Why not?
I might be a little off my rocker, but I ain't that crazy.
The prisoners shift from playing defense to playing offense.
As far as sensing you scared, no. Because in a sense, they wild, mean, and they scared. They got, especially Gus and Glory, you got 30 human beings coming to them. They don't know if you're trying to put them on a plate or something. So I'm sure they scared too.
So are you ever concerned about death?
No, ma'am. I am not afraid to die. I'm a daredevil.
Let's now get a bullseye view.
You come out here, it's our day out here. We're not in their prison. We're out here having fun. That's why I do it. And most of these other fellas, they do it the same reason. And then you win money too. I like to give them a good show.
And are you rooting for the bull or are you rooting for the prison?
Oh, I'm always rooting for the prisoner.
Prisoner, right.
Absolutely.
Oh, the prisoner.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the bull. It's the underdog.
It's always the bull.
A winner emerges from the mad scramble, clutching the wooden chips.
Some of the stuff was a little bit rough, I guess.
It was more violent than I thought it was going to be. I've never been to a rodeo before.
I thought the rodeo was a little different than I was expecting it to be.
So that was a little jarring.
Revelers return to society with their hobby crafts, rodeo memories, and maybe some alligator and turtle pasta on the way out to the parking lot. Inmates disrobe and bid farewell to their biggest fans, family and friends.
It feels good for them to come watch me, but they'd be more terrified and concerned about my life.
And your family comes and they visit with you, and then you have to go back to your dormitory, and they have to get back in their car and go back to their home.
These unconventional cowboys go back to their camp cells, the bulls to their cages.
I mean, there's definitely a correlation, but you know, the thing that's different between the bulls and the inmates, we do everything we can here at the Department of Correction to give these guys mental health treatment, medical treatment, substance abuse, anger management, vocational trades. So we're not trying to keep them caged up. We're not trying to treat them like animals. They were wilder on the outside than they are on the inside, if you ask me.
You lose so much when you become incarcerated.
Prisoners and staff alike struggle with polarity and contradiction, life and death, good and evil, light and darkness. But don't we all?
Are you ever moved to tears on the job, or is it just business as usual?
No, if I told you I wasn't moved to, the day that I'm not moved to tears, it's the day that I need to retire.